Hello and welcome to Canada. Site to qualifying here actually is what we got going on. So we try and find the 70. Looks like he'll be the first car out. No, he won't. Ash Curtis actually got him beat out. But we got qualifying for Mosport here. This is going to be interesting. First road course of the season. And we get to see how qualifying will go for these guys today. Ash Curtis, though, one of the guys who has to qualify his way in on speed. 57th place in the points coming in. Not been a good season for Ash Curtis, but we'll have to see how he can do today. Alex Hawkins, another driver struggling in the points. He has to make it in on his speed. 70 does not have enough points to get in. Neither does the 66 behind him, Sam Curtis. So all three of these cars having to make it in on their qualifying speed if they want to race today or race on Sunday. Here's a driver who's not too terribly in danger of missing the show. Jeff James, 12th in the points coming in. Off to a great start this season, the Aaron's Dream Machine. And you know he's looking to do some good here today. Probably will have an onboard camera. But one of the Canadians in the field here in the 00. Let's see how he can do today. Jonathan Zorline's been on a struggle so far this season. 44th in the points coming in. Coming off a make though last week. And it's been a while since I've recorded, so I don't remember exactly what happened. Unfortunately, but Zorline not having a good start to the year. One of the low points really of the Hendrick Motorsports stable so far, which is a big shock. A lot of people expected him to do a lot of good this season, and it just hasn't materialized. Alex Perkle comes in this race 29th in the points, the Juicy Fruit Chevrolet. Made the race last weekend at Bristol, but unfortunately not too terribly high in points, so probably one of those in danger of missing if he does not get a good run in today. Kyle Collins is just in front of the 78. Collins is actually... Where is he? He's in the danger list, I know that. 34th in points coming in. As Chris Louvier has gone to the top of the board. But Kyle Collins, 32nd in points coming in. Made the show last week, but again, still on that danger list of missing the show if he does not get into the top 36. Tom Shelley as Gene Sanford goes to the top of the board. Tom Shelley, though, coming into this race 5th in the points, so a great job for him. We know that Tom Shelley will race. We know Tom Shelley will race regardless of what happens, just a matter of if he's going to start on his speed or if he has to fall back on points. Sky Commons, a great run last week, 2nd place. Currently he finds himself now 9th in the points as a result. And the Stanley Tools Dodge this week goes to 3rd quickest right now at 15.97. But Sky Commons having a great start to the year so far, back in the Cup Series full time. And a new driver actually in the 15, but picking up really well. Theo Stiegel here in the 15. 2nd quickest on the board, replacing Henry Sanford, who decided just to step aside after Bristol because of how much he was in pain. Theo, though, planning to take over for the rest of the season. This car comes into this race 21st in the points. We'll have to see if they can make it in on points. Now it just got knocked down to 3rd, actually. And here is the points leader, Momo Akari, in a car that has been pretty well cursed. The only success this car has seen is in the All-Star race last season when Daniel Day took it to victory lane. Momo Akari doing a great job in this number 2 so far as Brennan Patterson goes to the top of the board. 15.48. Momo Akari, like I said, not expected to do well this season because of that car, but it's doing really well. Top of the points by 5 points over Amy Shelley coming in. Stephen Pollard III looks to be struggling right now. 26th quickest on the board. Comes into this race 36th in the points, so he's going to have to improve that time. I don't think it's going to be good enough to actually make it in. There is the guy who is top of the board right now. You saw him run wide, though, just a bit ago. Post on board Brennan Parsons' car this week. As Patterson comes into this race 23rd in the points. So Patterson probably needing to get up there on speed if he wants to make it. Gene Sanford again jumping up to the top of the board. DJ Curtis kind of on that borderline, I would say, of what would be good. 1585. DJ 10th in the points after last race. A great job by the number 14 so far this season. Stephen Paul III just jumped up to number 1, 1539. DJ now down in 18th. So he might have to fall back on points today. Who knows? I mean, a lot of time still left to go. Preston Plord currently finds himself 10th quickest, 15:54 with a 5. Just ran that lap, in fact. Preston 18th in the points coming in. A great job by one half of the Morgan McClure team. The other half not doing so hot, 58th in the points. Preston really holding up that team this season, though. Hefty on board still and doing a great job. Jake Bassinger finds himself 5th quickest. He is 45th in the points coming in, so that 5th place is crucial because he had to make it in on time if he wanted to race. Kyle Matthews finds himself 7th quickest right now. 15:51 with a 2. Matthews is 26th in the points coming into the race today. Or coming into this race weekend, so he's been doing a decent job. I'm not going to say that's terribly safe, but at 7th quickest, he might be able to make it in, I think. Jessica Shelton, coming off a visit to the D&Q race, finds herself 39th in the points this season. 12th quickest on the board, though. On a track that probably suits her driving style a little bit, consistency being the key, and she favors her consistency pretty well. One of the more consistent drivers in the field. Now falls to 13th quickest, but we'll have to see if Jessica Shelton can make this race. Has only missed 2 races so far this season. Jean Sanford we know will race, and it's not because she's 2nd quickest on the board. She is 4th in the points coming into this race, so a great job by Bill Davis Racing. One of the cars that had no points coming into the season, and finds themselves near the top of the standings so far. Ben Neuwirth is 27th quick and 35th in the points, so Ben Neuwirth in this Waste Management Dodge. We go to another one of the Bill Davis cars, and this one has been struggling a little bit this season. Hasn't been able to get a lot of stuff going. Maybe they should start going to some of the 55 setups because those seem to be working really well and just not seeming to work out well for Ben Neuwirth. Maybe just struggling to get adjusted to these tracks. Hiroshi Kazuyoshi finds himself 11th quickest on the board right now. And Kazuyoshi needs to make it in on speed. He does not have the points this race. And that team really has struggled all season long, really, in making races. Dylan Casella, 23rd quickest for the car that is 41st in the points. So I think it would be safe to say if Dylan Casella does not improve, he will be missing the race here today. A shame for the Roush team as they really struggled. Last week they had 5 of their 6 cars in the D&Q race, so not a very good showing. Will Lewis finds himself 29th quick. Dang. One of the more promising rookies last season has not gotten it going at all and just has struggled all season long. Had to make this race on time and doesn't look like he'll do so. He's really struggling right now in that AAA insurance number 6. Levi McIntyre, a string of Roush cars here, 21st quickest on the board. And Levi finds himself 37th in the points coming in. That is key, not because of just making the race, but Levi has a win this season, but is not top 30 in the points. So right now, Levi would not be in the chase if the chase had started today because he's not chase eligible in the top 30 in points. Troy Kang finds himself 16th quickest right now and is 13th in the points coming into this race. I'd say Troy Kang probably pretty safe. They've had a pretty decent start. Again, one of the teams that had no points for the first 3 races and has done themselves a world of good being consistent so far this season. The past champion, Mary Shelley, 15th in the points coming in, has yet to use one of the past champions provisionals and so far looks to be struggling today. 20th quick for one of the drivers who is really good on the road courses, actually. One of her specialties, and it's just not working. For some reason, Mary Shelley not doing all that well today. I'd say that if she made the race, we'd see her doing very well. But right now, Mary Shelley just not getting the groove of Mosport. Max Neuwirth, 29th quick. This guy has struggled. And that's just putting it lightly. I mean, 58th in the points. He's missed all but one race so far this season. And Max Neuwirth, it's not looking good for him today either. Chris Louvier finds himself 17th quickest so far. And that is the car that is 19th in the points coming into this race. So Chris Louvier, pretty borderline probably in both respects right now. So Louvier, the Pepsi Chevrolet, not doing him too well today. Mason Powers, we haven't talked about him, 22nd quickest. And he's another driver that had to make this race on speed. So not looking too hot. Have we talked about everyone? Yeah, we have. Okay. So Ash Curtis right now finds himself 18th quickest at 1560 with a 9. Below him, you look at Alex Hawkins, Mary Shelley, Levi McIntyre, Mason Powers, Dylan Casella, Max Neuwirth, Momo Akari, our points leader. Jonathan Zorline, Will Lewis, Jeff James, Ben Neuwirth, all at the bottom. Jeff James is struggling. That is a big shock there. There you see James right there in front. Jeff James has yet to use a Provo this season. And he's down in the provisional land right now. He has not found speed in this Aaron's Ford yet today. Let's see if he can get a run down this straightaway here. He's now the slowest guy. He'll get 1 lap at this. Based on when he hits the line, he will get 1 timed lap to try and improve his 16.3. He's got Ash Curtis on his back bumper. That's helping Ash Curtis on this lap. I'm really shocked that one of the Canadians in the field is struggling this much today. So he gets 1 more lap. Can Jeff James do it? Looking back here, Ash Curtis didn't improve his time at all that lap. Boy, Jeff James, this is a real shock, actually. It really is. On the bright side, has not used his Provos yet this season, so. And that will pretty much do his lap in. Sam Curtis, though, with a good run. Sam Curtis was able to drive that corner pretty well. Have to see if he can improve on his 12th best lap time right now. As we are in the standby time, flying laps are counting. Looking for any jumps on the scoreboard right now. And that is it. So this session is over. Stephen Pollard III is quickest. Then Gene Sanford, DJ Curtis, Alex Perkle, Kyle Collins, and Brennan Patterson. We know that those drivers will race as some drivers still come across the line. Looking down here, the time to watch will be Ash Curtis at 15:60 with a 9, I believe. That looks to be probably where they will have to look. But that does it for Group 1. We know 6 drivers in the field. Who will be the rest of them? We'll have to wait and see. We'll be right back, though, to bring you Group number 2. We are back for Group number 2. And Steve Pollard is the first car out on track. Steve finds himself 8th in the points coming into this race. So far, a very good start to the season to an unexpected car, not just to the grid, but to be doing this good. Kirk Shelmerdine Racing has got their car hooked up so far this season. We do not know for sure that Steve will race because not enough people from the top that are having points locked themselves in. We know for a fact, though, from this session that Henry Powers will race. Here's a guy that we don't know will race. Daniel Day has to make it in on speed if he wants to. He's below even Sam Curtis in the points. So Daniel Day not with a very good run so far. Seth Cole dead last in the points despite making the race last week. So we know Seth has to make it in on his speed. So too does Robert Pollard. He's another car in this session that will have to make it in on speed. They do not have enough points yet, but they are closing in on it. Robert Pollard coming into this race 46 in the points. They've done a good job the last few races at making the shows and getting decent runs. So far, so good. Matthew Marias will have to make it in on speed. Had a good run going. Actually, had to start the rear of Bristol. I remember this. He was the biggest mover. Had to start at the rear of the field, dead last, shotgun. Moved his way all the way up to 20th. A great job by Matthew Marias. Still has to make it in on speed, though. Jay Stella has done an impressive job the last 2 weeks. Not only making the race, but getting himself from pretty much bottom of the points up to 43rd. Still has to make it in on speed, but Jay Stella making some huge improvements the last 2 races. There's Dylan Young in car number 8. 3rd in the points coming in. Finds himself, I think, about 10 points down, but knows that he will race because he does have the Provos, and Dylan Young, 3rd in points, high enough in points to ensure that he will race regardless. Another driver that will race regardless is Amy Shelley. A great job by Racing for Jesus car this season. 2nd in the points. 1 win so far already this season. They know that they're in the chase if they can stay top 30 in the points. They've done themselves a great job so far this season, and it's shown on the track. Tristan Wilhoit finds himself down in the points. He has to make it in on speed, but he's had to do that pretty much all season long. It's been a struggle for Tristan Wilhoit in this 21 car. Another car that has to make it on speed is Jim Casella, the 96 Hall of Fame Racing. Has not gotten themselves off to a good start so far this season. They're lower in points than Wilhoit is, so I mean, there's something going for Wilhoit. He's not dead last. Ashley Brock has struggled the last couple weeks. Bristol was not too friendly for her because she DNQ'd. Finds herself still 38th in the points though. So Ashley Brock, if she can rebound and get a good job done here on the road course, I think she should be in good shape. Eric Powers, 7th quickest on the board now in the 88 car. He DNQ'd last week as well. Only fell to 25th in the points though. That from 22nd going in. So a great job by Eric Powers to at least salvage what he could. Another driver who found themselves in the DNQ race last week, Allie Nelson. She was the highest in points of those that DNQ'd, and she only fell to 24th in the points despite being in the DNQ race. So a good job still by Nelson there as well. As Dylan Thoreau's gone to the top of the board. Not yet in danger of getting down to the times from the top 18 yet. Jay Stella is now the closest though at it. Chris Washer finds himself 14th in the points, not in any danger really of missing the show. Has plenty of provos so far this season, and 17th quickest on the board. As Mason Neal now goes to the top of the speed charts. Charles Sanford struggled last weekend, salvaged a 30th place finish and only fell one spot in the points to 11th. But it just really was not a good weekend at all for Charles Sanford, and so far Mosport not treating him any nicer. 27th quickest right now at a 17:39. As Mason Neal is 15:54. That's not yet down to the pole speed or to the top 6, but it is close enough to where they are starting to get into the top 18. Ashley LaPlante, the California winner, finds herself 15th quickest on the board and 7th place in the points coming in. A great job by Ashley LaPlante so far this season. As Daniel Day now jumps up to the top of the speed charts. But LaPlante has done great so far this season. Top of the rookie points coming in, I believe. So LaPlante doing a great job so far. Kenny Bale, not so great. 14th on the speed charts and 32nd in the points. But you know what? They've been making improvements so far steadily. They've made the last few races, and you know what? Kenny Bale's moved his way up into the top 35 in points, which is actually saying something considering the start to the season Kenny Bale had. Mason Neal, 2nd quickest on the board. One of the more impressive rookies so far this season, has not found his way to victory lane yet, but finds himself 16th in the points coming in, and I don't think he's actually missed a race yet this season. What's funny is me and Paul went through who's been in the DNQ race and who hasn't, and I already forgot the list. But Mason Neal doing a great job so far. Another driver who's doing a great job this season is Axel Casella, 17th in the points for Stan Hoover Motorsports. 26th fastest on the speed charts though. Doesn't look like they have a good road course setup in that car right now. As Austin LaPlante and Henry Powers actually tied on the speed charts. Great job. We do know now though that Daniel Day and Jim Casella will race. That puts it to where Thoreau has to make it in on speed, as well as one other car. I'm not sure who it is. William Duncan, though, finds himself 29th quickest in this session. SeaWorld not doing him any favors. 30th in the points coming in. Not a good showing for that either. But I have faith that Duncan will find some speed in that car before the end of the session. Ish Taylor, 26th quickest so far. Not looking good for him either. Taylor comes into this race 31st in the points, so he needs to pick it up as well if he wants to make this race, I think. Sam Young's 28th quickest. Dang, he's 20th in the points coming in. So that 07's not looking too good today either. Neither is Matt Dixon. Matt Dixon is 40th in the points this season. Not good at all. Dylan Thoreau just jumped up to 3rd quickest in this session. He's not yet locked into the field though. But Dixon not looking good in this session. Hasn't looked good this season either. Henry Powers finds himself 14th quickest on the board, 6th in the points, like I said. And we know he will race because Jean Sanford locked herself into the field last session. Or in the first group, so. Right now, 16th quickest, though, for Henry Powers. Not too terribly good. Let's see if he can improve on that. Austin LaPlante finds himself 4th quickest and 27th in the points. This is another team that's made some improvements over the last few weeks and has found their way higher in points each and every week, because it's been a while since they actually missed a race. And Jackson returning to form, it looks like 24th quickest. Had to make this race in on speed if he wanted to race, and right now he does not have the speed to do it. There's Steve Pollard. We've already talked about him. I don't think we've talked about Dylan Thoreau yet. The guy who is 3rd quickest. 42nd the points. And with Daniel Day and Jim Casella racing their way in, Dylan Thoreau made it to where he had to race his way in as well. And boy, Dylan Young was so close to locking himself in with his speed. He's literally not that far off of it. He's 6 thousandths off Baskinger's time. But Dylan Thoreau knows that he right now would race. He doesn't know that he'll race. In fact, now pressure kind of on him a little bit, but pressure kind of off with the way he's done so far in that car with that run. We've yet to talk about Zach Kreller, the guy who's 16th in the points. Another one of the very impressive rookies this season. 22nd in the points. Actually kind of fell a little bit after Bristol, but Kreller has made most of the races. There was one race he missed. I believe it was Daytona, actually, if I remember correctly. But finds himself 16th in the points right now and doing a great job so far this season. Yet to talk about Eric and Rage, actually. This is the guy who is lowest in points out of those that have made every single race. It looks like he'll make another one. He's 9th quickest on the board. And unfortunately for him, he's 28th in the points. Ouch. Not doing so hot this season for Eric and Rage. And that's a car that was pretty much one of the top teams in the owner's points from last season. Kind of strange that Eric and Rage has not gotten that car to work well for him. Never got to showing Cosmic Nova's car during the qualifying session last week, which was kind of bad for me, but 24th quick for Cosmic Nova, and he finds himself 33rd in the points, a pretty good jump after last week. Ran really well at Bristol. Wasn't quite able to get the win, but was able to finish in the top 10. I think that pretty well covers everyone. Where's 18th at? 66 with a 6. That's the 21st place time, actually. Wow. Right now, 60 with a 9. That's 11th place over here, so it's hard to tell where the times would be. Now time's starting to slow down a little bit, or pick up in a way, if you want to look at it that way. Currently 18th, though, is Zach Kreller, and that's a time that I don't think would be good enough to make it in. Hawkins right now is quick enough. So too would be Sam Young and Jay Stella. Mary Shelley, I believe, would be good enough. As well as then William Duncan and Amy Shelley right now. 3 drivers tied for what would be the final spots in the grid. Axel Casella is the first driver who needs to pick up his speed. Needs to find about 2 thousandths of a second. Kreller needs to pick up 200ths of a second. Can Axel find it? He's got 90 seconds left. That's good enough for about 2 laps. Because you have the standby time as well. Henry Powers right now would be falling back on his points. This is all unofficial, obviously, and this is just based on my own calculation. We'll actually take a short commercial break and we'll be right back. And as promised, we are right back. Just had to take a short little break there. Axel Castell, we are still following him on track, and it looks like he is doing pretty well. He's keeping on track so far. Might be able to pick up a draft from Kenny Bale there in the 11. Oh, someone just picked up. I don't know who it was. It was Charles Sanford, and he just ran the quickest time of the session for either group. Sanford, what a pickup. And that makes it to where now Amy Shelley is on the bump. Amy Shelley, William Duncan, and Mary Shelley are the ones on the bump, having to pick up their time because they are all tied, and I think Duncan is the lowest in points of them. Duncan with the pressure now. Has to get it done on this lap. Sanford, what a job! Where did that come from? Shot clock cheese or something from Sanford. What a job. He was like one of the lowest in this session and just found like 6/10 almost or something. I don't know what happened there. An impressive job by Sanford. Might have just put his 05 unsponsored car on the pole. But Duncan coming down to the end. This is the standby time. So that is it. Duncan not going to get to the line. It's over. Okay, wow. It's going to be interesting, but Duncan might get knocked out of this on a tiebreaker. Oh, wow. It's going to matter on where the points come in. Seth Cole will DNQ. Will Hoyt will DNQ. Jackson's out. We know Marias is out. LaPlante will have to try and fall back on Provost. So too will Powers. We know that. That's 6th and 7th in the points. Oh my gosh. Momo Akari, I think, will have to fall back on Provo too. That's 3 of the top 7 right there. But what a job by Charles Sanford to put the car on the pole, starting alongside the number 33 of Stephen Pollard III. Oh, well, I know what people are going to say about this one. We will see you later, though. Thank you for watching Truck, Hooters, and Cup, all running here at Mosport, all north of the border. Jeff James, this is a big weekend for him. I know that for a fact. We'll see you later.